Right, Trent, listen, thank you very much for welcoming us to your garden,
Thank you.
not your home in these times in the current climate. Listen, it's 2020. It's probably unbelievable that we're actually having to sit here and talk about racism at this time, but I think it is important and that we both felt having these conversations
Definitely.
something that's needed. So just rewind back into your childhood. Was there ever any moments where you came across racism directed at yourself?
Not directly, no. Not that I can remember. I remember, well, this season at Old Trafford, I think it was November time, there was, I think, a racial remark was said by a fan as I'd been taking a throw-in. I never personally heard it, but I found out a few days later after it being reported. But yeah, not directed particularly at me. But I think racism as a whole is not only the person that it's directed at. So just because I haven't been directly racially abused doesn't mean that I haven't felt racially abused in my childhood. When my friends have told me that they've been racially abused, I feel the pain that they feel. It's a community feeling. I think if you say it to one person, you say it to everyone. So like when things are said to Raheem Sterling in the past and Callum Hudson-Odoi, Ryan Brewster, Tyrone Mings, they haven't just said it and hurt them, they've hurt everyone. I've felt hurt, I've felt like I've been racially abused, and that's just the feeling that I get when these incidents happen.
So does that make you feel that it's the importance of other players making sure that they come out in solidarity together and speak, and not just players of colour, but also white guys as well, who are prominent figures in the game, coming out and speaking and showing that togetherness?
That's exactly what it is. It's about everyone coming together, because it's not just about black people, it's not just about people being racially abused and people directly saying things at one person. It's everyone feels affected, everyone doesn't like it. Everyone of every race knows that this thing, what's happening is wrong. Racism is wrong, it's not right. People want to see change of every race. It just shouldn't still be going on. So to see the solidarity that we're seeing in the modern day that's happening right now, it's good to see it, but it shouldn't be needed. It shouldn't still be going on. But yeah, like I said, it's good to see people of all races getting involved and wanting to support such a strong movement, and hopefully with the solidarity that we've seen, we'll see change.
You know, with social media now, then you're very, very active on social media, like all the guys are in today's game. Do you feel there's a pressure for you to come out and speak more so now than probably maybe in my generation? Because I mean, when I was playing, you had to go through the media. You had to go to a newspaper or a TV station and speak, and then obviously at that point, then you're leaving it in their hands to make sure that message gets turned over properly and doesn't get misinterpreted. You've got to rely on them, whereas now it's solely down to you guys. It can't be misinterpreted, and it's up to you. Do you feel pressure to actually come out and speak? Maybe you might be a quiet guy who doesn't necessarily, you're not necessarily outwardly spoken all the time. Is that a pressure for you?
I think maybe I put pressure on myself because I know that that's the right thing to do. I know that that's something that I believe in. That's something that I want to get across. So I make sure that I want to put things out. I want to make sure that I'm educating people. I'm being able to be a role model in that sense. I've got a big platform. I know a lot of kids look up to me. I know a lot of kids. I'm a role model for a lot of the younger generation. And I want to put out messages that I believe in, and seeing the likes of Marcus, the way he's done it, Raheem being a role model for so many, and coming across and giving the right messages the right way and showing how influential they can be, that shows people like me that it is possible and that you need to go about it in a certain way. So for me, it's not just about being a role model on the pitch and wanting kids to, I don't want kids to just be, I want to be a right back like Trent, I want to play like Trent, I want to cross the ball like Trent. I want them to be looking at me and seeing he's got the right values, he believes in the right things, he's got the right ethics and beliefs. I want to be like that. I want to believe in the same things. I want to educate the younger generation, and I think at the end of my career, I'm not just going to look back and think, I won so many trophies. I'm going to look back and think I influence the generation. I want to be someone who feels as though I've made a change. I've made a change in the way people think, the way the system is, and I just want more equality. So I think if at the end of my career I haven't done that, then I'd see that as a failure on my behalf.
That's so refreshing to hear that. I mean, from someone so young as well, who sometimes the young players get tarnished with the brush of being so consumed in what they're doing in their own bubble. They haven't got that sense of reality outside. It's refreshing to hear that. So where does that come from? Because is that from your family at home? Is that something you just brought to the table at this stage now?
It's something that I've been taught growing up, and I think that's exactly the problem that we've got. That's why we're still in 2020 and we've still got these problems, is because people at a young age aren't educated in a way to know that these things are wrong and to have this thought process of it being wrong. So when now I'm looking at pictures from the marches and seeing the movements, I'm seeing people from all different races, I'm seeing people from different ages, I'm seeing young people, old people, all people from all different ethnicities, and that's what's needed. People need to be educated. They need to know what the struggle that people are going through, how life is on the other side, and how difficult it actually is. And obviously seeing the pictures of you there with your family and your children, that's the stuff that needs to go on, because I'm sure you'd say you're taking them there to educate them and show them what life's like and why these things are happening. So to see stuff like that is showing that hopefully these younger people will grow up knowing that this isn't right, and to grow up with the thought process of racism isn't even a thing, because no one's even thinking about it anymore because they've been educated in the right way.
You talk about education. I'm a massive believer in it. Educating is the only way really we're going to actually make a long-term change in this. How do you go about educating the next generation? Is it down to people like you, or do you think football needs to play a bigger part in that role, the people that run the game?
Massively. I think within the system there's not enough equality. I think you look at the system, you look at the numbers and the stats and the figures, you can see it. It's not hard to see that there's not enough equality, and maybe more higher profile jobs up to the boardroom and stuff like that. So for that to change, we need people. We need black people in the boardroom. We need people in there with a voice. We need to be educating people all the way down. We need equality from physios, kit men, all the way up to into the boardroom. We need everyone to have an opportunity to do these things. And I think going forward with that education and teaching people the right and wrongs in the right way, then I think that's when we will see some change. And I think in, like I said, higher leadership positions and stuff like that, from what I can remember, I think you're the only black appointed captain for a major tournament, and that just shows that how long has the England national team been going on, and you're the only one. Something's not right. The system's not right in some way. I'm not saying give it to someone who's black because they're black,
yeah.
But if two people are evenly deserving of it, more times than not, without even thinking about it or looking too much into it, it will go to the white person, and that's just the thought process. I think maybe subconsciously it happens, but I think when you think about it like that, to have one black captain in a major tournament for the whole time that England's been running is something that obviously isn't right with the system.
I think that's a massive point you've just touched upon there. In America, they got the Rooney Rule, where a black candidate for a job goes in, has to be given the opportunity to present themselves, etc. But you don't want to go down the road where you feel like they're just ticking a box. We've got a black guy or a person of colour comes in, they've just ticked a box, and then they're not going to get the opportunity. It has to be done with a bit more foundation to that. They've got a chance to actually get
exactly.
the job.
No one's asking to be given freebies. We're not asking for, like you said, just you're given the opportunity because you're black. We want everyone to have an equal opportunity. So when you are going into the interviews, or you're going into the coaching route, or you're applying for a job, you feel as though you're getting the same amount of opportunities, and you're being judged on the right things and not the wrong things. You're not being judged on skin colour or where you're from, or maybe how you grew up. You're being judged on what you've got on your CV, what you can do, how good of a coach you are, how good of you are at the specific role. and not judged off the things that aren't important, which is skin colour, ethnicity, and race.
You know, when you was coming through, did you ever, just to take it back again, when you was coming through as a young kid at the academy at Liverpool, did you ever feel at any point where you might have had to go that extra yard more than somebody who wasn't of your background, or you'd feel that opportunity maybe wasn't going to be there, or something gave you that feeling the opportunity might not be there because of my colour? Because in other businesses, that's how a lot of people feel, and they'll report back and say, well, I feel I've had to work so much harder than the next man to get him just because of my colour and where I'm from.
Yeah, I think when I was growing up, I never felt like that personally. I understand, I can see in certain industries and certain institutions, I can see that problem is visible clearly. I think, but in football, I don't think that is too much in terms of when you're growing up in the academies and you're growing up into youth football and stuff like that. Because, in fairness, the England youth teams are predominantly black players, which is a good thing to see. But that's again coming from equal opportunity, and from these players are talented enough to get into it. They're not just getting in there because they're black. They're getting in there because they're good enough, they're talented enough, they're showing the capabilities. But at the base of it all is opportunity, and that's what anyone can ask for, and that's what they've been given. In other industries, people aren't given them opportunities to be able to reach their limit, or to be reaching the role that they want to be reaching, because them opportunities aren't available. Whereas in football, in youth football, I feel as though them opportunities are there, but I think maybe in different roles within football, in terms of maybe management or coaching, coaching route, the route down the coaching route. Maybe them opportunities aren't there, but I think in youth football the opportunities are there.
So going into actually talking about the roles of black people in coaching, how do we change that? It's a hard question for you to answer because it's not happened and no one's found the solution for it yet. How does that change from where we are, where a third of the players that play in our top league here are from different ethnicities? How do you get that to transfer then into the coaching area?
Again, I'm not trying to overuse the word, but it's again opportunity. I think when you're looking at for a transfer, for instance, when you're looking at a transfer target, you don't care what colour they are, where they're from. You're looking based on what talent have they got, what are they going to add to my team, and can they perform? Whereas for me, I don't think that's the thought process for managers. I don't think that's the thought process for more powerful positions within football. I don't think it's solely based on talent or what they can do. I think I may be wrong, but for me, I feel
that's
as though
the way it feels.
That's the way it
feels.
It feels like that. It feels as though whoever's making the decisions at the top, maybe on purpose or not, race does come into their thought process. And obviously, I'm not gonna dig anyone out or name names, but in terms of England football, the England manager, the captaincy roles, the powerful positions within the setup, and that, it feels as though that there's limitations for black people.
I agree with you, but we've seen now the two games we saw yesterday where players took a knee, which was great. Again, solidarity between everybody. We've seen the T-shirts, the anti-racism T-shirts. We've seen bands worn in my era, etc. These things are great, all well and good. It shows that moment of solidarity at that time. But surely there needs to be more foundations, more behind that to keep pushing for this cause. Do you think that's there? Do you think that's in coming up behind that, or is this going to be just, okay, we've done that, knee, hand up, the salute, the acknowledgement, and then we move on to something else? Something else comes into the spotlight. That's the fear that many people have.
Yeah, of course. That's because that's what's happened in the past. It's happened every time. Something happens, and an incident happens. People rally for a little bit. People have a protest. People do the things that's right. They want to protest. They want to do it, but eventually it wears off. Whereas in this instance, it can't. We need to keep going. We need to keep pushing it. There's so much momentum behind it. You're seeing the whole league are behind it. The refs are kneeling. The shirts, the names on the back of your shirt, not even yours. It's all to support this cause. So I think in terms of football, we're doing a lot, but it needs to be consistent. It can't be in a month's time that's all forgotten. And yeah, it was good while it lasted. It needs to carry on. And like I said, that comes through education. So hopefully the younger generation now are watching these games. People are watching. All eyes are on these games. So the millions that were watching yesterday who tuned in, they all seen that. So hopefully the 6, 7, 8-year-olds, they're watching it and are asking questions. They're asking mummy, daddy, what's going on? Why is that happening? Why don't they have their names on the back? And that's the thing. That's where education comes from. If you don't know something about the subject, go and ask people. Go and ask your work colleagues. Go and ask your friends. Go and ask people. Go and ask your neighbours. Go and be interested about the situation. It's all around the world. If you don't know about it and you're a bit confused, you don't really know what's going on, go and ask people. Go and find out what they're going through, what they've been through, why it's such a big deal, why we need support from everyone, why it's not just black people that need to get involved, why we need everyone's voice to come together to make change. And that's where the education comes from. So if I was to say how's this going to affect the future and make sure that it's not just a little time where it was a protest and it didn't really affect too much in the future, it'd be to educate yourself, educate the people around you, educate your children, learn more about the subject. And once you do that, you'll realise what's going on is not right. The racism that happens on an everyday life in all institutions, all systems, is not right. And when people learn that and find out more about it, that's when we'll be able to see some change.
I agree with you. I think it's bigger than football. I think the curriculum needs to reflect what we're talking about here. But aligned to that, I think the Premier League, the Football Association, all of the football clubs, and then a good strong group of players need to come together and have one message that gets pushed out to this next generation. Otherwise, if we're getting messages from you, from him, from her, from different places that are mixed messages, it confuses that generation and they're not going to have an understanding of what to do and why.
Exactly. We need a united front.
Maybe you're the man to start that. Maybe you're the guy to be the man at the front of that pulls these people and these institutions together to make sure we can get some sort of change.
Whether I'm at the front or I'm at the back, I don't care. I just want to be part of change. I want to see some change. I want to be able to use my platform in any way that's needed. If that's posting pictures, getting involved with things, who knows what it will be. But I'm sure when people think of the ideas and the stuff that needs to happen, I'll definitely be part of it because it's something I believe in. I've been educated in a way to know what's right and wrong, and then I think for us footballers and, like you said, the Premier League, to have such a powerful platform and to be able to unite people in such a way, do it with the right things, change maybe the sponsorships that go around the pitches, change it to messages that people can see all the time, and just keep reminding people of things, keep trying to educate people, and I'm sure hopefully in time we'll see change. But like I said, it's down to the people like us footballers who've got massive platforms, people who want to be us, the children who look up to us. We've got a responsibility to try and teach them to be better people and to understand what's right and wrong.
Listen, I couldn't have said it better myself. So eloquently put. Thank you very much, Trent.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.